My name is Chris Cranenberg and I'm a senior lecturer in the advertising program. This video will walk you through the advertising major and provide some advising tips for course selection. There are two important documents you should have when selecting courses or trying to determine your path through graduation. The first document is your advisement report, or AAR. You can find your AAR on WINS. The second document is your advertising major check sheet, which can be found on the Communication Department website on the Majors Minors page. Let's take a look at your AAR and specifically Section 7 of the AAR, which outlines the requirements of your major. The first thing you'll notice is that it says an approved minor is required. Many minors require 21 credits and have a series of classes that are prerequisites for other required classes. As a result, it can often take 3 semesters to complete a minor. Ideally, you would decide on your minor by the start of junior year. So what exactly are approved minors for advertising? Many students take both their major and minor in the Communication Department. This chart shows you what major-minor combinations are allowed. Since advertising is a journalism major, that means that you cannot take journalism as a minor. And of course, you can't take advertising as both your major and your minor. The rest of the minors in the Communication Department are allowed and are excellent complements to the advertising major. Some of the most popular minors for advertising majors are PR, corporate communication, graphic design, which is found in the art department, and marketing, which is found in the College of Business. If both your major and your minor are in the Communication Department, keep an eye out for classes that might be required in both programs. You can't double dip or count a course in both your major and your minor. When both programs require the same course, it will typically count in your major, and then you'll need to choose a substitute class in your minor. For example, if you major in advertising and minor in PR, you'll run into this same situation with COM 275. The course will count in your major, and then you'll need to pick a communication or journalism class with a number 275 or higher for your minor. The next part of the major section of your AAR lists major credits and your major GPA. 36 units or credits are required to complete the advertising major. This student has completed 24 credits so far, and that number includes courses they are currently taking or what the AAR lists as in progress. The last number tells you how many credits you still have left in the major. This student still has 12 credits to go. Below the units requirement is the GPA section. You must have a 2.25 GPA in your major in order to graduate. That means that a student could finish all the credits required by the university, and if this GPA is below a 2.25, that student would not get a diploma. This particular student has a 2.335 GPA in the major, which is above the requirement, but starting to get a little too close for comfort. And if you notice this student's grades in the ad classes, there aren't any D's or F's. That old saying, C's get degrees, is not true, because if you earned all C's in your major classes, you would have a 2.0 in the major and not graduate. Always aim for A's and B's. Now let's look at the classes required for the ad major and how they're divided up. The ad major requirements are broken into 4 groups: the advertising core courses, theory electives, communication and diversity electives, and applied electives. The advertising core is group number 1 and includes the 8 courses every advertising major must take. In this example AAR, group 1 is still bold because the student has not completed all the courses in that section. This student has completed 2 classes, the ones that have grades listed, and is currently taking 2 additional classes. The current classes have no grades yet and show as IP or in progress. The second group lists 4 courses that will fulfill the theory elective requirement. You only need 1 course to fulfill this requirement, and you could see that since this student completed COM 345, the requirement is satisfied and the section header is no longer bold. The same rule will apply for Group 3, the Common Diversity elective requirement. You only need one course from the list, and there are a large number of course options. Group 4 is made up of a wide variety of applied elective courses, and you need to take 2 courses to fulfill this requirement. After the course requirement groups, there's one additional section called milestones, and you definitely don't want to forget about these requirements. AD majors have 2 milestones: completing the Communication Department exit survey and completing the writing requirement. These milestones will stay bold until you complete them, and if unfulfilled, will prevent you from graduating. Now let's take a look at the second important document, the advertising major check sheet. Remember, this is the document you can find on the Communication Department website on the Majors Minors page. This check sheet is jam-packed with important information, and I recommend you print one out and use it to plan your path through the major to graduation. Notice that the 4 requirement groups from the AAR line up exactly with the 4 groups on the check sheet. Let's take a closer look at the required core courses. If you look at the far right column, you'll see the prerequisites for each course. The first 2 classes, Journalism 220, Foundations of Advertising, and Journalism 241, Electronic Media Copywriting, have no prerequisites, but they act as important prerequisites for all the other core courses. That means you should take 220 and 241 first and as early as possible in your academic career. They're the gateway courses that open the door to the other required core courses. Once you've taken Journalism 220, you can then take Com 275, Journalism 309, and Journalism 322. And if you took Journalism 241 at the same time you took Journalism 220, then you can also add Journalism 320 to this list of classes now available to you. The last 2 courses in the advertising core are Journalism 364 and the capstone course, Journalism 423. To gain access to Journalism 364, you need to complete Journalism 322 as a prerequisite. And to get into campaigns, the capstone, you have to have completed Com 275, Journalism 220, Journalism 241, Journalism 320, and Journalism 322. The capstone has a lot of prerequisites because you need to put the material learned in all those other courses into practice to create a campaign. While we're looking at the prerequisites for Journalism 423, take note of the part that says co-rec. A co-rec is a course that can be taken either before or at the same time as the course it's listed under. In this case, it means you could take Journalism 309 and Journalism 364 in the same semester you take Journalism 423. If you notice the numbers I put to the left of each course, you can see that it's possible to complete the advertising core courses in 3 semesters. But to do so, you have to get this prerequisite sequence right. Let me show you a few examples for how you could complete the advertising core. Sometimes, students transfer into advertising from other majors, which can often put them behind schedule for graduation. To help with that, we made it possible to finish the core courses in just 3 semesters. If this is something you need or want to do, take note of the course sequence on the left. 220 and 241 always have to come first, 275, 320, and 322 follow, and then 309, 364, and 423 finish things off. This sequence is fast, but isn't the ideal way we would recommend going through the major. If you have 4 semesters, then consider the model on the right. 220 and 241 in the first semester, 275, 320, and 322 in the second semester, 309 and 364 in the third semester, and the capstone 423 by itself in the 4th semester. Doing this allows you to take all the other classes before the campaigns course, and it allows you to focus your energy on the capstone, which can be a challenging course. In addition to the core courses, advertising majors also need to take 4 electives: 1 theory, 1 common diversity, and 2 applied electives. Let's take a look at some of these elective options. The theory elective group has 4 choices: persuasion, communication theories, law of mass communication, and communication and public opinion. All 4 are excellent options and relate directly to our industry. If I had to pick one that seems most popular for advertising students, it would be the persuasion course. Remember, you're only choosing one course in this group. The communication and diversity group has many options, and students choose a course based on their personal interests or their future career plans. For example, students planning on working as an account executive in advertising might take Introduction to Corporate Communication or Communication and Conflict Resolution. Students interested in media might take Mass Communication in Society or New Communication Technology. And like the previous elective group, you are only choosing one course. You might have noticed that some courses have an asterisk after their name: communication theories, law of mass comm, cross-cultural communication, and so on. These are the classes where ad majors will write a paper that can be used to satisfy the writing requirement we talked about earlier in the milestone section of your AAR. The last group on the check sheet is Group 4, Applied Electives. When I'm advising students in person, I tell them to save these electives until closer to graduation. Seniors often have a better idea of what type of job they want after graduation, and the classes in this section can help you beef up your skills for your desired career. A student who wants to work in a creative job, as a writer or art director, for example, would definitely want to take Journalism 425 Advanced Ad Creative. That class will help you develop your portfolio and get you feedback on your work from actual agency creative directors. A creative student might also want to take Publication Layout to get additional hands-on experience with InDesign, or Publication Photography to fine-tune their skills shooting and editing photos. Writers might want to take Principles of PR or feature writing. Future account execs might want to take Advanced Public Speaking. One course I encourage all students to consider is Journalism 493A, Internship in Advertising. I can't emphasize enough how important it is to have one or more internships before you graduate. In addition to giving you hands-on experience, internships look great on a resume, allow you to network with industry professionals, and give you a look at different jobs so you can find what you will enjoy. Plus, if the company hosting your internship likes you, they just might offer you a full-time job after graduation. To find internships in our area, check out bigshoesnetwork.com, visit the internship page on the Communication Department website, sign up for Handshake through UWW, or contact the Career and Leadership Development Office on campus. Another great way to get experience and beef up your resume is by getting involved with campus organizations. Whitewater Advertising Association is a student-led creative advertising agency doing work for business and campus clients. The Royal Purple is always looking for advertising account executives who work with local and national clients on digital and print ads. UWW-TV and 91.7 The Edge also offer great opportunities for hands-on work in marketing and communication. One of the best things about being an advertising major is that you're in a department with faculty and staff who genuinely care about you and want to see you succeed. If you ever have questions about classes, electives, campus involvement, or career topics, don't hesitate to reach out to the Communication Department office. They will let you know the right person to talk to get the answers you need.